The night was ink black, the kind that swallows light. But it wasn't silent. First off the deck of the Carrier, even before the main event, were EA-18G Growlers from Carrier Airwing 7. Their mission, cloaked in the esoteric language of electronic warfare, was anything but an afterthought. It was pivotal. These weren't bomb trucks. They were the ghosts in the machine. Their objective, to carve an invisible electronic corridor through the heart of Houthi air defense's ringing Sana'a. The key, the ALQ-249 Next Generation Jammer pods, slung beneath their wings like instruments of silent thunder. As these specialized warbirds took up station along the Yemeni coastline, their crews commenced their symphony of deception. Within seconds of activation, Houthi radar operators, hunched over their consoles around Sana'a, watched in disbelief as their clear air pictures dissolved into a blizzard of electronic snow. Phantoms danced across their screens, ghost aircraft materializing from nowhere. A deliberate symphony of chaos orchestrated by the NGJ. Each pod, capable of unleashing up to 8 megawatts of effective radiated power. Across the 2 to 18 gigahertz frequency range, a spectrum covering 93% of Houthi air defense radars, was shouting into the enemy's electronic ears. Confused operators frantically tried to sort real returns from fakes, cycling frequencies in a desperate bid to regain clarity. One operator, in a particularly futile act of defiance, cranked his acquisition radar to full power, exactly what the Growlers were waiting for. That signal was a dinner bell, and the NGJ feasted, rendering it blind. Think of it as screaming so loud into a microphone that the speaker blows. After mere minutes, a 40-mile-wide sanctuary, an electronic safe passage, had been meticulously sculpted through hostile airspace. The stage was set. Now, the main act, Super Hornets, also from CAW-7, roared from the Carrier deck, each laden with 16,000 pounds of precision-guided munitions. Their target, a hardened Houthi command and control facility, buried deep beneath the hills outside Sana'a. Intelligence, painstakingly gathered, pointed to this nerve center, its existence betrayed by unusual thermal signatures picked up by satellites, emanating from 30 feet below ground. Taking it out wasn't just a strike, it was a strategic imperative for regional stability. The formation thundered southeast, over the Gulf of Aden, before banking sharply north towards Sana'a. Crossing the Yemeni coastline, the Hornet pilots weren't taking chances. They pushed their throttles forward, pitching their jets into a steep, gut-wrenching climb to 35,000 feet in altitude, comfortably above the effective ceiling of any surviving, unjammed Houthi air defenses. Soon, the target area materialized on their cockpit displays. The forward-looking infrared FLIR painted a ghostly thermal image, revealing the irregular geometric shapes that confirmed the Subterranean complex. The lead pilot methodically designated for distinct aim points across the facility's presumed roof. In the cold, digital heart of the F-18's combat systems, in fractions of a second, calculated optimal impact angles trajectories designed for maximum devastation, while keeping the launch aircraft at a safe standoff. With 4 GBU-31 JDAMs apiece, they had more than enough ordnance to turn this fortress into a tomb. All birds, release weapons. Time on target, 30 seconds. The lead pilot's voice, calm and clipped, cut through the cockpit hum. Across the formation, 2,000 pounds GBU-31 JDAMs detached, arcing gracefully earthward. These weren't just bombs. They were technological spearheads, a standard BLU-109, the penetrator warhead mated to AGPS guidance. Kit accurate to within 5 meters from any release altitude. But for this mission, their deadliness was amplified. Technicians had meticulously set the delay fuses to 15 milliseconds, just enough time for the 1-inch thick, forged steel casing to burrow through 20 feet of reinforced concrete. Before unleashing its 550 pounds warhead, the first JDAM struck the primary control center entrance with surgical precision. A split second later, the earth didn't just tremble, it convulsed. The bomb tore through soil and concrete, its delayed fuse holding its fury until it was deep within the complex's guts. Then, detonation. The overpressure in those confined spaces would have exceeded 5,000 psi. For anyone within 30 meters, it was an instantaneous, non-negotiable end. But the choreography was more intricate. Follow-through targeting was in effect. At 3-second intervals, subsequent JDAMs slammed into the same entry points, drilling progressively deeper, each blast compounding the destruction of the one before. 7 more JDAMs rained down, a perfectly timed deluge. Initial bombs targeted entrances and ventilation shafts the complex's lungs. Subsequent munitions were aimed at the communications hub and suspected weapon storage areas. 8 distinct, massive explosions blossomed across the hillside, punctuated by a colossal secondary detonation as stored munitions cooked off. As the Super Hornets banked hard right, afterburners blazing, they left behind a scene of utter annihilation. What had been a concealed, subterranean bastion was now a smoking, debris-strewn crater, nearly 200 feet across. The operation's all-seeing eye, an E-2D Hawkeye, loitered 150 miles offshore. Its powerful and APY-9 radar, operating in the 400 to 450 MHz UHF band, sliced through the Growler's electronic haze and any Houthi countermeasures. It had monitored a staggering 6 million cubic mile volume of airspace, covering all of western Yemen. Its 5-person crew hadn't just watched, they'd orchestrated, ensuring all 16 JDAM impacts were synchronized to within 0.8 seconds of each other. For maximum synergistic effect, crucially, its synthetic aperture radar pierced the roiling dust cloud, providing 1-foot resolution imagery. Confirmation came in real time, all for primary targets obliterated. No need for a follow-up, no need to risk more assets. But the night was far from over. Aboard the USS Carney, part of the Carrier strike group, radar operators snapped to attention. Multiple fast-moving contacts erupted from Yemen's western coast, near Al-Hudaydah, for Iranian-supplied missiles, streaking towards the fleet. The ship's Aegis combat system, a marvel of defensive technology, instantly calculated intercept solutions. Weapons free, engage all inbound threats. The captain's order was swift. Seconds later, for us, M2 missiles blasted from the Carney's vertical launch cells, screaming skyward. Inside the destroyer's combat information center, a supercomputer, the Aegis command and decision system, was performing digital wizardry. The ship's SPY-1 radar had detected the incoming threats at an impressive 267 nautical miles, 23% beyond its official range. But raw data is useless without rapid processing. In a mere 1.8 seconds, Aegis crunched over 4 million lines of code, factoring in 28 separate parameters to generate a firing solution, a task at least 15 times faster than any human team could achieve. All this while simultaneously tracking around 127 other air contacts, constantly updating potential fire control solutions for each. It was like 127 grandmasters playing simultaneous chess games at lightning speed. The RIM-66 Standard missile to south, now accelerating to Mach 3.5, over 2,600 miles per hour, closed the distance. In their final seconds of flight, each missile's active radar seeker locked on, capable of acquiring targets with 98% reliability, even those with a radar cross-section as small as a bird's 0.1 square meters. As they neared their quarry, their 140 pounds warheads detonated, creating expanding rings of lethal metal fragments traveling at 8,000 feet per second. All 4 Houthi missiles were shredded long before they posed a genuine threat. The Houthis had poked the Hornets' nest. Now, they were about to find out what happens when you truly anger the hive. Retaliation was swift, clinical, and devoid of fanfare. A specialized 4-aircraft package launched from the Carrier. This time, it was the F-35C Lightning II, the Navy's apex stealth fighter. With Houthi defenses now on full alert, the element of surprise was paramount. No Growlers this time. The F-35s wouldn't need them. Their radar cross-section, equivalent to a marble 0.0015 square meters, rendered them virtually invisible to any Houthi radar. As they neared enemy positions, their APG-81 AESA radar operated in low probability of intercept LPI mode, emitting signals at just 2% of normal power, diminishing the already minuscule chance of detection to practically zero. But their real ace was the Electro-Optical Targeting System EOTS, mounted beneath the nose. From 73 miles out, despite camouflage, the EOTS detected the distinct heat signatures of recently fired Houthi missile launchers. This data, fused with information from the aircraft's 360-degree sensor suite and projected onto the pilot's helmet-mounted display, granted them a godlike view, effectively seeing through their own aircraft in any direction. Their payload, GBU-53B Stormbreaker precision glide bombs, released at altitude. Their 40 nautical mile standoff range kept the F-35s well clear of lingering point defenses. What truly set the Stormbreaker apart was its tri-mode seeker, a potent combination of millimeter wave radar, infrared, and laser sensors. Darkness, dust, scent irrelevant. This bomb would find its mark, and find it they did. The 105-pound warheads created a precise 26-foot strike radius around each launcher, enough for destruction while minimizing collateral damage. Then came the mind-blowing part. As the first wave of Stormbreakers homed in, they detected some launchers attempting to relocate. This data was transmitted in flight to the second wave of bombs, which then adjusted their own trajectories to intercept the moving targets. Smart bombs, calling their friends. Both strike packages, Hornets and Lightnings, returned safely. No losses, no aircraft damage. Post-strike analysis confirmed the Houthi command center was completely neutralized. An estimated 27 operators eliminated. The follow-up attack destroyed 4 of the remaining 6 mobile launch platforms, severely degrading their capacity to threaten shipping. For the next 72 hours, an unprecedented silence fell over the shipping lanes. Not a single merchant vessel reported a Houthi strike, the longest peaceful interlude since the conflict intensified. The question that hung in the cool morning air as the sun began to bleed over the horizon was whether the night's brutal demonstration of precision and power would push the Houthis towards negotiation, or if they would simply adapt, regroup, and continue their campaign against one of the world's most vital maritime arteries. For a few hours, though, under the cloak of darkness, American air power had spoken, and its message was unambiguous. For now, mission accomplished.